An indifferent struggle occurred on May 4, 1886, proving the epitome of the long-lost 8-hour workday for troubled laborers in Chicago. It began 3 days prior to Albert Parsons' support and rallies for the shortened workday. These strikes were relatively serene, however disruption occurred on occasion, resulting in minor shootings yet no injuries. On May 3rd, strikers gathered outside of McCormick Sweeper Company. As the workers rallied outside, police fired on them, killing 2 of the workers present. This only made tensions run high. Anarchists gathered and decided to take revenge for the incident. This resulted in the gathering at Haymarket Square. The masses began printing flyers, urging people to join in their plot for revenge. The following day, May 4th, people once again gathered together. August Spies, who was present at the McCormick incident, began the rally by giving a speech atop a wagon. As the strike initiated, the police observed the scene, making sure that all was in order. This strike, like many others, seemed rather normal and quite peaceful. After a multitude of speakers, Samuel Fielden gave his speech. However, he was interrupted by the police. They demanded that the crowd disperse. Before the crowd left, an unknown individual threw a bomb, hitting a policeman. The bomb was followed by a rain of gunshots. This event took the lives of 6 policemen, including Officer Matthias, who was struck by a bomb on his leg, causing severe bleeding. Another 60 individuals were injured. The rally speech given by Austin Spies wasn't meant to incite violence, yet 8 anarchists were arrested under suspicion. August Spies, Albert Parson, Adolf Fischer, George Engel, Louis Ling, Michael Schwab, Samuel Fielden, and Oscar Neebe became known as the Martyrs of the Haymarket Affair. All were found guilty, and 7 of them received the death penalty, while Neebe received a 15-year sentence in prison. Later, Fielden and Schwab's sentences were changed to life in prison. Louis Ling committed suicide on the eve of his execution on November 10, 1887, blowing half his face off with a stick of dynamite. The next day, Spies, Parsons, Fisher, and Engel were walked to the gallows wearing white robes as they sang Marseille. The execution was carried out by hanging, and one reporter stated that the hanging was long and excruciatingly painful, and even shook the audience. Before Spies died, he shouted, "The time will come when our silence will be more powerful than the voices you strangle today." This trial was considered one of the most serious miscarriages of justice in American history. Governor John Peter Altgeld signed pardons for Fielden, Neebe, and Schwab after having concluded all 8 defendants were innocent. The Haymarket Affair was a setback in American labor in its fight for the 8-hour workday. On May 1, 1890, workers decided to hold a second strike against it. In 1889, President of the American Federation of Labor, Samuel Gompers, sent a letter to the Second International in Paris informing them about the international strife for the 8-hour workday. In response to the letter, the Second International adopted a resolution calling for a great international demonstration on a single date so workers everywhere could demand the 8-hour workday. This demonstration was adopted on the 1st of May. Additionally, the Great International Demonstration was in memory of the 8 martyrs who died on May 4, 1886. The first International May Day was a spectacular success, and the commemoration of May Day became an annual event. Again, as a result to push the 8-hour workday, pressure grew upon the labor union, and individuals were encouraged to go on a nationwide strike. When trial took place against the individuals charged with conspiracy, Joseph Gary was appointed as judge and Julius Grinnell prearranged as prosecutor. Although there lacked sufficient evidence, Joseph Gary permitted the conviction based on theory alone. Such theory suggested that those connected with the rally encouraged the unidentified bomber to perpetrate the act. The trial took place on June 21, 1886, and for the reason limited evidence could be provided, assumptions correlating these suspects to the assembly led many to believe they took part in the effects of the bombing. In March of 1887, the legal counsel for the convicted appealed the case to the Illinois Supreme Court. During November 2nd of 1887, the U.S. Supreme Court denied the appeal, despite an international campaign for a merciful pardon. Due to the sentencing of the 8 individuals convicted, outrage took place from budding labor and workers' movements. Publicity of the Haymarket Affair led both the New York Times and Chicago Times portrayal of the convicted individuals as murderous. The fact that this trial obtained an inadequate amount of evidence brought upon controversy amongst many people. In order to gain an 8-hour workday, individuals of the working class would require the willingness to display such criteria to those of the business. Years after the Haymarket Affair had occurred, a landmark was created at the site of the incident in Chicago on March 25, 1992. Additionally, the Haymarket Martyrs Monument was built in Forest Park and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and as the National Historic Landmark on February 18, 1997. The Haymarket Affair was a deadly riot that compromised the lives of many innocent people. The egregious actions brought forth by the anarchists will never be forgotten and will forever be labeled as a massacre, resulting in a painful silence, followed by a mass controversy. The Haymarket Affair has proven to be not only important, but extremely influential in the history of America.